Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFL TV in association with MTK Global. Fight week.
Yeah, baby, we're back.
Finally,
we're back.
We've got a show on.
Yes.
What
are you trying to say?
No, I'm just saying, you like whole this month.
All right.
A bit lazy.
Well, we had to do 4 on the bounce. Give us a chance.
All right, mate. It's September. What happened, mate?
Well, mate.
You're only as good as your last show.
Yeah, which was fucking unbelievable.
Right,
so suck my nuts, actually.
All right, mate.
Yeah.
Right, chill. But anyway, you're back.
We're back. We're back. We've got 4 in October.
Right, okay. All right, mate.
Do you know what? You might put me in a bad mood with that statement.
September, mate. Come on, that's a compliment if you think about it, isn't it?
Okay.
Go on. Anyway. 4th of October, Sunday show. WHYTE is back.
Yeah. I'm giving Sunday a roll. Okay? If it doesn't work, I can only blame you. Because I think that I know you. You are me. We are one. And what I'm saying is, I think Sunday works. I've wanted to do Sunday boxing for a long time, but with a live audience, I don't think Sunday works. Because you want to go out on a Saturday, you want to have a few beers, you don't want to get up for work the next day, you want to watch a bit of live sport, you might want to go out after. But now that doesn't exist anymore, perfect opportunity for us to try Sunday boxing. We're going to be leading in with 2 Premier League football games, massive audience, and we'll see if it works. I think now's the time for experiments. Because we're working in a different environment now. We're not just about the live crowd in the arena. We're about you guys at home. And I think that's where we've got to improve moving forward, is to enhance that experience more. Difficult to do without that atmosphere in the arena. We did it with Fight Camp. Now, although I've always felt phase 2 was going to be bringing crowds back, that's slightly delayed, and we go back to the in-event experience indoors this time. Spent a lot of money trying to make it look different. You'll be the judge.
Let's talk about the card. Finally, WHYTE is back in action.
Well, we'll start from the bottom, if you like, or from 7 p.m.
Go.
I always feel now, I like to tell you, not you, but you, about what I'm thinking, okay? Because I get a lot of things right, and I get a lot of things wrong. No, I don't. I get a lot of things right. Okay, so what I'm thinking of is it's really important to start the night off with a good fight, with a good competitive fight. So rather than put a young prospect in one of his standard fights that they all deserve to progress, I want to make more 10-round English title fights and British title eliminators and stuff like that. You saw it with Bellotti against Gill. You saw it with Cullen against Chelly. You saw it with other fights on Fight Camp where I tried to do that. On Sunday, I do Linus Adofia against John Harding Jr., English middleweight title. You're sitting there nodding your head going like that. Fucking say it louder for the people in the back.
Yes, I like that fight.
Right. So that's going to be a great fight because you need, especially on a Sunday night, you need something that's just going to get you tingling a little bit. You know? So you've had your weekend almost, you're on that down. I don't want you to go down yet, right? I want you to stay up with me. I want you to live and breathe this with me. So on Sunday, after you've watched your 2 Premier League games and your roast dinner starts to go down, your mojo starts to creep up a little bit. And you go, fuck me, Hearn's only stuck the boxing on a Sunday night. He's a cheeky fella. And then you start off with John Harding Jr. against Linus Adofia, and then we're rocking and rolling, aren't we? So we go from there, then we go into what has actually become, what's gone from an 8-rounder at Fight Camp to one of the fights I'm most looking forward to this year in Akib Fiaz against Kane. But let me do it.
All right,
all right?
Just remind me.
No, I know you're excited. Let me do it. Akib Fiaz against Kane Baker. Great little fight, plenty of bad blood. Big fight for both. Sprinkle John Hedges in, little 19-year-old on his pro debut, 6'5" super middleweight. Why not? Then we go back to one of the most talked about fighters around right now. It's Alan the Savage Babbage. who is absolutely hilarious. I saw an interview with him today. This whole alter ego thing is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I am Alan. I am a very nice guy. But when the savage comes out, he's a crazy motherfucker. Right? So, he's fighting Niall Kennedy from Ireland, who bang fancies it. I've got to say, and I know there's a lot of questions, a lot of people think Babic is average. I've spoken to a lot of heavyweights, Tom Little included, who wants his pop last week, who said, Ed, he's nothing at all. You've given this guy this platform, he's coming out pretending to be this lunatic, knocking everyone out. He's bang average, and I will school him. So if he's bang average, Niall Kennedy will beat him. But we'll see what the Savage is all about. That's coming to you at about 8:30 on Sunday night. Just now we're getting into it with a bit of heavyweight action. Then we go back to the ladies. And probably, a period in the sport that has given me most satisfaction and most excitement is the growth of women's boxing. Now we go to one who people are saying might be one of the best of them all, in Chantel Cameron. She gets her chance against Adriana Araujo from Brazil. She's here, great amateur, big puncher in Araujo. She boxed Katie Taylor, she beat Natasha Jonas, she beat Rose Volante. Very good fighter. Might have missed the boat a little bit in her pro career. She's, at the back end of career in terms of age, but punches very hard, good technician, great pedigree. We're going to find out what Chantel Cameron's all about. And then, to go along with the Croatian invasion of Alan Babic, Marko Kalic is the opponent for Joshua Buatsi. Kalic beat Alan Babic actually twice in the national championships. He's a huge 175 pounder. I don't know if you saw the footage today of Babic and Kalic together. Kalic looks like he's a couple of weights bigger than the heavyweight Alan Babic. So I expect a good fight from him. We know that Buatsi's been out of the ring for a year. But I expect Kalic to give him a good test. He's been boxing since he was 6 years old, boxed WSB, he's 11-0 as a pro. I don't expect him to beat Joshua Buatsi, I have to be honest with you. I think Buatsi should look very good, and I think he'll stop him, and I think he'll knock him out. But I think it's going to be a good test by someone that's coming to win. So that, my friends, is Sunday night boxing. I have to say, I think it's a really good card, and I think you're going to really enjoy it on Sunday.
So, let's talk about
What's that?
How it's all
What's
going
this?
to work. How it's all going to work.
What's going to work?
Right, this week, because obviously Fight Camp was pretty much clear, set out. Everyone was kind of in that bubble period, stayed all week. You left there, yeah. Same
applies, yeah. We're in the Marshall Arena at MK Dons Football Club.
Yeah.
Setup is fantastic. Obviously, you've got the football club there, but you've got a great arena there. You've got the hotel on site. So, the issues that we had last time, look, shout out to Prince Khalid. He'll probably be watching this later. I'm not ignoring you, I'll call you straight after this. But by then I would have spoken.
His number comes underneath.
No, it doesn't. It's just FaceTime audio. So, same kind of setup. The only difference from a logistical point of view for us is we had to transport people from the hotel down the road to Fight Camp. This time you walk from the hotel to the arena. It's a great setup. It's been the home of our snooker and our darts, our Premier League darts as well. It's been very successful for us so far. So the setup is great. I'm going to share some pictures later on social media. Exactly this kind of setup, same setup as Fight Camp. Gym has been built, media rooms, studios, etc., etc. So when you get down there, you'll see a very similar feel to Fight Camp in terms of the facilities for fighters. Very different experience in the arena. I've tried to make it as different to other. It's the difference between the studio stuff. It's not, it's a huge building, so it's going to look very different to a studio. But I've tried to make it as different as I can and put our stamp on it. And you'll see some of the things we've done. I think it's going to look much better than anything you've seen anymore from an arena. And it's now a case of moving, like I said, from what I thought would be for crowds, going into October the 4th, October the 17th for the Newcastle show, and going into the 31st in USYK, Katie Taylor, which is likely to be November the 14th, White Povetkin on the 21st, probably Billy Joe Saunders on the 28th, and then going into Joshua as well. So it feels like from the period of USYK-CHISORA, we will have ourselves in a home, if you like, for 4 weeks. And that could well be Wembley Arena, which we will take over for that period. As we hope that we get some kind of progression to allow fans back, but not looking great at the moment. So this Sunday, we are in the Marshall Arena in MK Dons, and the setup is fantastic. And yeah, same kind of procedures, same testing procedures, same PPE, absolutely everything the same as fight camp.
Okay, so let's just go back to USYK-CHISORA, which you announced.
You always say USYK, don't you?
USYK.
It's USYK.
USYK.
If it was USYK, it would be EK.
Not necessarily.
Mate, what do you know about Ukraine?
Well, what do you know about the Ukraine?
Mate,
nothing.
No, this is where you know nothing, actually. Now, my grandfather was half Ukrainian. Now, what do you say?
What a load of bollocks. Barry!
That was the other side.
Oh, no. It was sick.
Yeah.
And CHISORA, which was, I'll be honest with you, a little bit surprised that this one got over the line.
So was I.
Because I didn't think that CHISORA was going to budge, weren't sure about.
It just got down. The one thing, the conversations are straightforward with people at the moment, because regardless of what people think, and regardless of me thinking Dillian might go up at 8, I am very honest, right? So when you look at the numbers, it's quite transparent, isn't it? There is no crowd. It's not like you're going to turn up on the night and go, lying bastard, there's 8,000 in here. The revenue that you would have had from the fans, from the crowd, has gone. So therefore, how are we going to work together to make this fight happen? But I want to try, I'm trying to put a schedule together that looks identical to the one that we would have had with fans. That's my biggest aim now. And I have to say, if I can get Joshua Pulev over the line, if I can do Billy Joe or Callum Smith or Josh Warrington, and I can do Katie Taylor, and it's an identical schedule. And not looking to pull my own plonker, but that deserves some homage. It does, because it's very, very difficult. But yes, we're good at what we do, but it's also dealing with people who want to fight. People like Usyk and CHISORA go, yeah, okay, we'll take less money, we'll take more upside, or whatever we're going to do. We believe in this fight. We want to fight. I believe I can win. And that's refreshing, because without David Hay calling me every day, without Alex Krasov calling me every day, going, how are we getting on? What are we doing? Oh, we can try this, we can do this. How about this? We would never have got it over the line. So whilst I would love to take all the credit, those people deserve a huge amount of credit, because without everybody collectively saying, we'd like to do this fight, it wouldn't have happened. And I think it's amazing that fights like that are happening without a crowd. And White Povetkin 1 and 2. And Joshua Pulev, if that happens without a crowd. It is amazing. And I can't believe that we could be in a place. When this happened, and when we talk about no crowds, I was of the position that a lot of people are coming out saying, well, it's just that you can't do that fight. I mean, how many times are you hearing that now? You just can't do that fight without fans. And there are certain fights that is true, but there's always a way if people are willing to be creative, if people are willing to believe in themselves, if people aren't just completely motivated by money and do want to put on a great show or create a legacy or do something out of the ordinary. So yeah.
So that's going to take place at Wembley Arena, hopefully.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's where we're looking at the moment.
Where's Plan B?
Plan B is another arena. I don't want to go into a studio, I think if I had my choice in this environment, I'd be outside all the time. We're getting to a stage now, starting to piss down the rain, it's freezing cold, we just can't do it anymore. So we just have to make sure that we've got to create something special. We're trying to do it on Sunday, have a look, see what you think. But as we go into those big, big fights, and I'm hoping that even by October the 31st, we might be able to say to the government, let's have 1,000. Right? Okay, no, okay. White Povetkin 2. Let's have 1,000. Yeah, okay. Joshua Pulev, let's have 3,000 or 4,000. It all depends on how things play out. But I am saying, fans or no fans, my schedule happens. And that's what makes us unique. And I have to say a special shout out to Sky Sports, and a special shout out to DAZN, who have backed us and have wanted to make sure that our schedule and their schedule remains the best in boxing. and they've done it.
You've announced Lee Selby's fight.
Great fight.
On that
George
card.
Kambosos, yeah.
So talk about that fight, but also potentially who will feature on that card.
Okay, we've got it here. See all my notes? October 17, October 31st, November 14, November 21, November 28th or December 5th, December 12th. That's all the fights. I don't need no fucking names, let me tell you. Right, let's start with USYK-CHISORA. We have Selby against Kambosos that was supposed to headline our Wales card, as we know. Final eliminator for the IBF lightweight title. Bloody great fight. Lee Selby, former IBF featherweight world champion. George Kambosos, top ranked fighter in the IBF right now. Talks the talk, looks dangerous, very fast hands, very aggressive. Let's see if he's world level or not. Also on that card, looking to make Dave Allen in a strong fight. Been speaking to him the last few days, been speaking to MTK. We want to put Dave Allen on that card.
He mentioned Zhang.
Zhang is an option. Someone around that level is where I want to be. I want him in a proper fight. I'm not interested in Dave in a 6 round or an 8 round. I want a proper fight that if he wins, can actually go on and put him in an unbelievable position. And if he loses, then he moves back to domestic level and he fights Babic or he fights Wardley or one of these guys. So Dave Allen is, you know, a strong prospect for that card. I'm going to do Tommy McCarthy for the European Cruiserweight Championship on that card as well. I'm looking to put another female championship fight on that card, which I'm pretty much there with. And I need another 1 or 2 championship fights for that card, which I'm working on to finalise this week. Pretty much the full card for USYK-CHISORA. I always do this, don't I? And end up putting myself in a bad position.
Oh.
Fuck it. Should be in place by the end of this week because it's 4 weeks on Saturday. So that's where we are. It's going to be a good card. And then we go on to November the 14th, which will be Katie Taylor. It will be a triple header of World Championship fights. And then you go on to November 21, which will be White Povetkin 2. Loads of fights scheduled for that card. Conor Benn will fight on that card on November the 21st.
Jenkins or?
Do you know what? I'll be straight up. Basically, Conor Benn hasn't boxed for over a year. He's desperate to fight Chris Jenkins, right? For the British and Commonwealth title. I had Conor in here the other day. If it goes to purse bids in another 2 or 3 weeks, I said to him, if I win the purse bid, it'll probably be January or February because all my cards will be full by then. I want to fight in November. Please let fight in November. So I've written to Queensbury and Chris Jenkins, his manager, and I've made them a colossal deal. You know what? It's not even a million miles away from double where I originally started, and said, this is the offer. If you want it, let me know in the next few days. If not, I'd rather put him in against a top 15 world ranked fighter because he must fight in November. So hopefully they let Chris Jenkins fight, but we'll see. That's Conor Benn. Hughie Fury looking to go on that card. Kuzmin against Bakoli, the rescheduled heavyweight fight from that card.
This is November 21.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you've also got John Ryder. He's going to get a final eliminator for the WBA world title. Lemieux is an option. I would love to do Ryder Lemieux. I think it's a fantastic fight. Yeah, could be chief support on that card. Then you've got the cruiserweight situation, which is Billam Smith. Sorry, Rakpour is supposed to fight Juma. Rakpour's got an opportunity for quite a big fight. So if he takes that and doesn't fight Juma, Billam Smith could fight Juma in a British and Commonwealth matchup. Great fight. So those ones could fall on the card as well. You've also got Fabio Wardley, Dylan wants him on the card, and the Savage Babbage the Savage, against Tom Little. So that's supposed to go on the card. So at the moment, we've got about 9 fights scheduled for that card, and we just need to establish with Dillian which ones are going on. So
7 is still the limit?
7, yeah, but it's still going to be, that's going to be a great card. And then we go to, I met with Billy Joe Saunders last week.
Yeah.
And then we've got obviously the AJ card, which subject to Boazzi winning on Sunday, he could be in a big fight on that card. Akoli for the world title against Glowacki. And then, you know, a couple of other fights that are between Dillian's card and that card about going on there as well. And like I said, November 28th, looks like Billy Joe Saunders, and then you've got Callum Smith to try and get out maybe on December 5th, Josh Warrington. It's that they're my last pieces to solve of the UK jigsaw.
What's the options you've discussed with Billy Joe Saunders?
So Billy Joe Saunders, you know, you're wedged between all those pay-per-views, so he wants to fight. Same kind of position as Conor Benn, where he's saying, look, I need to fight. So we need to look in the rankings, pull out a fight that's going to get people relatively excited. The people are going to say that's a solid fight, and he's going to make a voluntary defence of his world title. Also on that card, we're looking to do Zach Parker against Hartle, IBF final eliminator for Caleb Plant. Shannon Courtney to return on that fight. I'd like to see her stepping up into another title fight on that card on November 28th.
So Shannon Courtney will be out.
Yeah, she's messaged me, please tell me I'm out before Christmas, please, and you are. So
what type of fight for Shannon?
I want her to fight in a title fight. I want to do I don't see the value in stepping backwards into a 6-round fight. I'd like to see her step up into a 10-round fight. I thought she would have gained so much experience in the Rachel Ball fight. And Rachel Ball is on the verge of landing herself a huge fight. So if she wins that fight...
You've got options on Rachel Ball?
Yeah, we're going to do a deal with her for this big fight coming up that we're going to stage for her. It's a massive opportunity. But if she wins that fight, she can rematch Shannon Courtney in a massive fight if Shannon comes through. But I need Shannon... If she wins that fight, I need Shannon to have won a big 10-round fight. So she's got to... You know, we'll talk to her at Adam Booth and say, for me, you should fight for the Commonwealth title or fight for an international title on the 10th. Because in the lower weight divisions... There's not a lot of liquidity in the rankings and with fighters. Do you understand? So you're like one win away from fighting a big world title fight. So Shannon Courtney is a lot closer to a major fight than she probably thinks she is at the moment. But I just don't see the point in stepping backwards. So like I had to try and make a big fight. Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull, will probably debut on the Billy Joe Saunders card as well. And then we've got a load of other fighters that we're looking at. Interesting to say as well, October 17 is now really coming together as a really good card.
Is that going to be in Newcastle?
No.
Is it going to be...
My notes,
Who did need the
No, I don't need it. It's just for one person. And actually, I've remembered it anyway. So, I think, you know...
It's gone everywhere.
Oh, shit. No, I don't bet. So, October 17, Britson against Vasquez, main event. Martin Ward against Estrada Garcia, that was the name that I was looking at, who's top 15 in the world.
Martin Ward up there?
No, Thomas Patrick Ward.
Thomas Patrick Ward?
Not even Thomas Patrick Ward. Well, yeah, Thomas Patrick Ward. Yeah.
He's got a brother called Martin Ward.
Yeah. So Thomas Patrick Ward against Josh, that's going to should put him in number 1 position, challenger for the world title there. Kash Farouk is back, made a really good fight with Kazasfak and Mark Leach, final eliminator for the British title. And of course, Savannah Marshall against Hannah Rankin for the world title there. And Joe Laws. Why did you go like that?
I like that fight.
It's a great fight. A little bit of needle there. So Newcastle, or probably not Newcastle, is now coming together as a really strong
Where
fight.
will that take place?
Could possibly be in a situation similar to the MK Dons.
But is it going to be up there, or could it be somewhere else?
If the numbers continue to be higher there than they are elsewhere, we'll do it elsewhere. If that makes sense. There's no value in us to go to a region where the COVID numbers might be higher than somewhere else if there's no crowd.
So you could end up going back to Milton Keynes?
Yeah, or into Wembley or wherever for that. But that fight, that card goes ahead without fans or no fans. So other fights that we've got to look to get out. I mean, you've got a whole host of fighters trying to look to fight again who fought in fight camp. Anthony Fowler, Kieran Conway, Jordan Gill. Oh, blimey, there's loads of them. Gamal Yafai's got to get his European title shot before the end of the year. And so on and so on. So just now finalising all the cards, but I'm looking to finalise the entire remainder of the year by the end of next week. So that's really where I want to get. It's not that far away. You know, we're going into October now, so we're in a good place.
Could you just list me a couple of potential opponents? I know you said like someone who's in the top whatever, but for Billy Joe, who are we looking at? Are we looking at
Dmitry Chudinov?
Yeah.
Martin Murray, Rocky Fielding. I think John Ryder would be a great fight. I'm not sure that'll happen. I think John will take his final eliminator shot.
So possibly a domestic.
I would like. Listen, if I can give it to, even if I can give it to Rocky or Murray or these kind of guys, Ryder would be a top fight. I just, people are always going to moan, right? So I'd rather a Brit got the opportunity, especially at this time when travel restrictions are in place, where we can actually make things a lot easier, and you can get a Brit and go out and try and win a world title by beating Billy Joe Saunders.
And for Callum Smith, same question really.
Same kind of situation, different rankings. The thing with Callum is obviously Billy and Callum. They're still in the mix for Canelo. If Canelo turns around and sorts out his situation, he's going to fight this year, and he wants to fight one of them two. So we'll see, but we're not relying on that anymore. We're saying we're going to move forward and make our own decisions. For Callum, if he doesn't get Canelo, until crowds come back and there's a pay-per-view slot to fight Billy Joe Saunders, he needs to have another fight. What we really want is to fight Yildirim in a unification for the WBC and the WBA. That's essentially what we've been promised, and that's what we've been writing to Maurizio Sulaiman about for the last couple of weeks, is to say, look, if Canelo Alvarez doesn't fight Yildirim, further to the rulings at the WBA rules meeting about Callum Smith effectively being the second mandatory, we believe it should be Callum Smith against Yildirim for the title. And Callum Smith's been trying to win that WBC title for years. It means a lot to him. So hopefully Maurizio agrees with us and we can make that fight subject to Canelo not fighting him, which I don't believe he will. So in an ideal world, it will be Callum Smith fighting Yildirim, probably in December, and then Billy Joe Saunders defending probably November 28th, and then maybe it's a 3-belt fight next.
Is the main reason you're not chucking them in together is because you haven't got a pay-per-view date?
I can't. Look, we're going pay-per-view October 31st, pay-per-view November 21st, pay-per-view December 12th. Okay? There's no, that's a lot of pay-per-views. So there's just no room for another pay-per-view. Couple that in with no crowd, and it's impossible, that fight. So, but I want to get them active, and if Callum can't fight Billy Joe, he should be looking to fight Yildirim for the WBC.
Okay, so Joshua Pulev.
Yes.
So it could very well happen without a crowd.
Well, it'd be a big shame, but yes. Again, letting you know, if I can't get a crowd, I may try and take it to somewhere where I can get a crowd.
Abroad?
Possibly. Yeah, but what difference does it make
Doesn't,
to you? It's like, that's out of order on the fans. So, we can't get that in. So, but it's going ahead. So, we will work with Bob and Ivalo, who are the promotional partners in Pulev, to maximise the revenue. But we won't just go somewhere for the sake of, if there's a big opportunity to take this fight elsewhere, we will look at it. But what I'm saying to you is, this fight goes ahead with or without fans. So, for people, this can only happen, and it's remarkable that we're in a position where an AJ fight, and this goes out to shout out to Canelo as well. These guys want to fight. They want to progress their career. They want to stay active. So they've got to do what they've got to do. And if that means fighting with no crowd, they will do it. But my job to maximise the revenue of the fight for both fighters. If that means, and there's an opportunity to drive revenue via a site fee or via crowds, I will look at that as well. But it's not, we're not out here selling apples. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like just punting things out. This is talking about the most prestigious fighter in world boxing, in Anthony Joshua. So the opportunity's got to be right, the deal's got to be right. If not, no problem. We know the world we're in. We'll handle business behind the crowd and we'll move on.
What are the options for it to take it abroad then? Can you let us know?
Location-wise, Could be anywhere. It could be Far East, could be the Middle East, could be somewhere in Eastern Europe. There's loads of options. But, again, it's got to be the right deal, the right circumstances. It's got to be safe, right? Everyone's got to be comfortable with the protocol in place. So we'd have to
that date change?
No, December 12th.
Yeah, but if it's abroad, could it change?
No, December 12th.
That is the day it's fighting?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more? What? No. Any more thoughts on whether you think the Fury Wilder fight will go ahead this year?
Yeah, I spoke to Bob Saturday night, and they've, it's up. Listen, I'm not going to tell you his plans, but he's working hard to try and put new procedures in place to allow that fight to take place in Vegas. and he can't do any more than he's doing. I mean, you know, he's working at a very deep level there with officials to try and put, whether it's testing for crowds or apps in place that makes it safe for people to return into venues. I don't know if they would run that fight without fans. That's up to them. I hope they do, but that's over to them. You know, Bob's going to do everything he can to try and make that fight happen this year, for sure.
Has there been any development on the whole Fury AJ thing, or is it where we were a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I think, you know, I mentioned to him the other day about drafting contracts, and I think because of the job we've all got at the moment, you know, in terms of delivering that December fight, I don't think that was at the forefront of his mind. But everyone's, you know, there's no, I keep saying this in interviews, there's no other fight anyone is looking at from both teams other than AJ Fury next after the December fight.
Should they come through?
Of course. If not, we'll fight Wilder.
Okay, so where were you going to try and fit KSI and Mike Tyson?
Well, that's one where I haven't really. You asked me off camera, didn't I? If I'd seen the KSI quotes, was it saying he beat Mike Tyson?
Basically, yes. If they thought now.
I mean, Mike is getting old, but that's, you know. I mean, look. I just think maybe it's my fault. You know, maybe I've just, where I'm such an unbelievable salesman, I've made KSI and Logan think that they are world beaters. You know, I said it in the ring after. These guys, they're not fighters. They are fighters. Maybe that's detrimental. You know, do you know what I mean? Though they're not boxers. You know, what they are is entertainers, but entertainers that put it in, put the effort in, put the time in, put the camp in, did everything that a pro boxer does, and got in there and fought. So they deserve a massive amount of credit for that. But they're not elite. That's a better word. They're not elite fighters by any stretch of the imagination. And actually, when I said that in the ring in LA, it didn't go down very well. I think they were both sort of half offended. And maybe they got caught up in the whole hype thing. It's like someone that plays Sunday League football. You don't go out there and start playing Champions League. You'll get absolutely turned over on the park, won't you? Don't mean don't mean you can't play. You know, it's all about levels. You know, if KSI went down an amateur gym and started sparring with novices, he'd probably smash them to bits. But if you put him in the ring with someone that was even domestic level, a British champion, it would be a complete mismatch as well. Same with Conor McGregor. But Conor McGregor's got a fighting experience. But when you put Conor in with Floyd, it's a mismatch. When you put Conor in with Manny, it's a mismatch.
What do you think about that?
It's a mismatch. But Conor's the greatest salesman. I mean, Conor makes me look average. So the guy's a legend. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, to be honest with you. And he ain't going to listen to what I say. Good luck to him. Go and fight Manny Pacquiao. We all know it's a mismatch. What do you think? Anything? Should you try and convince anyone anything else? But by the way,
Sky promoted and then he's talking about
but Sky have promoted, you know, but KSI v Logan Paul was never a mismatch. It was just fucking weird. But I was at Floyd against Conor. It was a total mismatch. You were there, you agree, but you probably won't say it because you've got no arsehole, right? But Manny against Conor in a cage is a mismatch. Do you know what I mean? These are not, we're about levels of people. Conor is one of the best to ever do it at mixed martial arts. And Manny and Floyd are one of the best to ever do it in a ring. They just don't work together. But Conor is, you know, he's fantastic. So he can do whatever he wants. Don't mean he's ever going to beat someone like that. He's only had one pro fight. How's he going to go and beat Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather? KSI's had 3 fights.
One pro fight.
Oh, yeah.
Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, though.
Again, I love Logan Paul. I think he's great. This is a guy I've spent a lot of time around. First time I met him, I thought, oh, God, this might be a bit awkward. Super intelligent. Good athlete, actually, as well. Really nice bloke. And love to work with him in the future. I just feel like if you're going to put on a big event, it needs to be evenly matched. That's why I was always comfortable with KSI Logan Paul, because I thought, I don't know who's going to win. You know? So, what's the value of Floyd fighting Logan?
You tell me.
Well, you tell me. I'm asking you the question.
Numbers, isn't it? And
no, but as a fight, I'm not talking about as the numbers.
Well, there isn't.
No. So what are you selling? You're selling a YouTuber against one of the best fighters of all time. But the other guy, I mean, they could fight 1,000,000 times and he wouldn't win once.
Would you promote it?
Of course. Do you know what? Would I promote it?
Yes, you would. Don't go there. If you was given the chance to promote it, there's no way. I'm not even asking the question because it's obvious. Ed, I don't know why you're taking so long to think about
I don't
this.
know. Yeah, I suppose. No, I don't know, Koo.
Why is no...
I think,
Go on.
do you want me to be completely honest?
Yes.
If I was going to make a shitload of money out of it, yeah, I'd do it. But if not, if I was only going to make a lot of money, I wouldn't do it. It's bad. It's bad.
Why is there no...
Depends who asked me.
Why haven't Sky picked up Loma and Lopez?
I think, I saw Bob's comments the other day, I think it was in your interview as well. It's very simple, okay? You know there are other outlets out there other than Sky, don't you? I don't understand. Like, it's like, if Sky don't get Loma, that's a disgrace. What about Channel 5? What about BT? What about ITV? What about Fight TV? What about all these other platforms? It's very, very simple. No one wants to spend any money at the moment. Do you understand, in terms of above and beyond what they're spending, which is already a lot of money. So, I've got a pot of money from Sky, okay? I have to get my fighters out. I have to find a way to get my fighters out like Billy Joe Saunders without a crowd. Quite honestly, I need every penny of that pot to try and make that happen. You're nodding your head. At least say something so that people can...
Okay, I understand. You're talking.
But when I talk like that and you start to agree and nod your head, every now and again go, yeah, or tell them, champ, or something like that.
Go on, talk.
I was joking. Don't bother doing it. It'll be shit.
I will.
Okay, so... Top Rank called Sky and said, do you want to put Lomachenko against Lopez on? And Sky probably said, well, I did say, because I know, Eddie's got the budget and we're not looking to spend any extra money on boxing at the moment because, quite frankly, we've been supporting boxing. Eddie's been, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I spoke to Bob on Saturday and I said, I saw your post, so here's my offer to buy the fight. I made an offer out of my budget. Well, really, it was all right. I mean, he probably thought it was a shit offer. And he just said, no thanks. Because he probably feels like it's worth a lot more money. He might be right. You can't say it's worth a lot more money if no one's made an offer to buy it. So I've made an offer to buy it. It probably doesn't represent the value of the fight, but I can't do any more. I'd love to put that fight on Sky.
Did you say out of your own pocket?
Yeah.
What, your pocket?
Well, it's my budget.
Right, your budget.
So, yeah,
right.
but it's just, I've got that money to spend on fighters and fights that I feel will deliver value for money for Sky. I would think Lopez against Lomachenko, good fight, but I will say this as well. It's on at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know that to a hardcore fight fan, that is a big, big fight. But historically, fights don't particularly deliver at that time in the morning. And by the way, we also did a pay-per-view with Lomachenko, and it was probably our poorest numbers of any pay-per-view I've done in the last, 3 years. Okay? So I know he's a legend, I know he's a genius, etc. And if I can find a way to get it on Sky, no problem. You've got the same situation with Crawford Brook. Where I said to Kel and Terry, go and do the deal what you're happy with. Now everyone come back and say, well, it's pay-per-view fight, isn't it? Bob's saying, Hearn puts on crap pay-per-views. Fuck me, if he had a chance to put on a pay-per-view of any quality, he'd be all over it like a rash. The fact is, he only wants to put Crawford on pay-per-view in the UK. But no one's interested because of the schedule that's always already in place. So now he can't get that fight on pay-per-view. He's moaning that my pay-per-views are shit. Yeah, I'm smashing the numbers out of the park. Right? So, now, who will buy Brooke Crawford? And that brilliant fight. But where's the budget coming? People at the moment in the world we live in, unless you're going blind, broadcasters aren't coming up with extra money beyond their original budget, going, yeah, things are great, I'll spend that, I'll spend that. At least with pay-per-view, you've got the opportunity to buy. If you don't want to buy, if you don't think it represents value for money, no problem, I understand. You know? So, it's difficult at the moment. Every broadcaster, every sponsor, you know, are looking to either save money or not spend a bean beyond what they originally promised you.
Okay, fair enough. You're half sensible.
Oh, thank you very much. Half sensible.
Well, you are. You're half sensible, right? So I know you've half explained this, but like when you were talking about Dillian White in this Boxing Social interview, about
like, about getting up at 8.
Yeah, so what?
9. 10.
Why did you say it first?
Because when I watched the fight back live, right, he went down and I was like, oh shit, and I got up and I was a bit concerned. And then, like, I can only tell you, like, honestly, when I saw him after, and you may think the same on this, he was absolutely fine.
Fine.
Like, yeah, like not even wobbly, anything. So, I don't know. And then, the other thing that I got terribly wrong was, I thought the ref counted to 2 or 3. When I watched it back, he looked at him on the floor and went over. So I got that bit wrong as well. But I honestly thought that he was up, or not up, getting to his feet at the end of what would have been the count. Bad call.
But one thing I will say is you are right. So when he did get up, he was fine for the rest of the
Yeah, and I think that, but I did, to be honest, I did, when you watch the clip back of the knockout, you don't then watch it for another 10 or 15 seconds, and he was down for 20 seconds or something like that. So, yeah, hands up, got it wrong.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's not something that I'm trying to pull wool over your eyes, you can all see it. You know what I mean? And I did watch it back.
You sounded like he went to
He went to me.
He went, watch it again, mate, watch it again. I was like,
I know, but I just remember them going like that, and then everyone getting in the ring, and then not so long after, he tried to get up, right? But unfortunately, he tried to get up at whatever it was, 16, 17, 18 seconds. So, yeah, I can't, you know, again, you know, sometimes I try and even sell it to myself.
Fair enough, Edward.
But one thing I will say on that, because the whole conversation was about, do you think he should be fighting so soon after that? And I was trying to say that I don't actually think, I can't say that I don't think I'm going to end up with another meme here, but wasn't that he wasn't hurt, but I've been around a lot of knockouts and people, you know, he walked out of the ring shortly after. He went back to the changing room. We had a fully fledged conversation about the entire fight and about the mistake he made and the punch that was landed. And then he came out and started talking to me about the rematch. We talked then, we talked after that. I talked on the phone the next morning in a conference call with him and his team. Do you know what I mean? So the point I'm trying to make is, whilst it was a bad knockout, you know, again, you done it, or you saw him after. I know you didn't want to do an interview, and it wasn't like you were there in the change room. It weren't like, oh, get him to his chair. He was fucking walking around like going, oh my god, I can't believe, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
correct.
But he was definitely down for longer than 8 seconds.
Okay, good.
Someone said to me, my mate messaged me. He goes, Ed, I've just seen, a bit like what you just said to me. Ed, I've just seen your interview. You know he was down for longer than 8 seconds, don't you? And I went, yeah, I mean, looking back now and watching it back, he went, I thought you meant 8 in the morning. He got up. It was quite funny.
Right, October 23rd. Viva Mexico!
Great card.
Great card.
Great card. Estrada against Quadras, rematch of a little Mexican war there before. Great fight. Chocolatito is in a really tough fight against Israel Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a lot of people felt he beat Yefai in Monaco. Do you remember that fight? Yeah. You didn't even know it was him, did you?
What?
Same guy.
Mate, you I was there.
I know you were there, but you didn't realise that was the guy fighting Chocolatito, did you?
All right, no, I didn't. Sorry, mate.
I know. He had a big win in Japan last time out as well. That's a banana skin, that fight. And our little nutty Mexican friend, Julio Cesar Martinez, he's got a good fight against Maximino Flores, IBO world champion. Cheeky little triple header with a little bit of Diego Pacheco, Amo Williams, and Ofer Jones 3 on the card as well.
3 or the third?
Ofer Jones the third. OJ3. And the fight is agreed between Chocolatito and Estrada, the big unification, if they win. What are you laughing at?
Your review of that Mafia game the other day.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, he was like, look at him. He looks a bit tasty, doesn't he?
Do you know what's quite funny, right? I've got to go in a couple of minutes, right?
4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes. So, I want to get into the computer gaming world, right? So I was asked by 2K to come in and do a bit of work, a bit of promo around the Mafia game. So, and obviously I want to use it as an in to get into the boxing, to produce a boxing game. So I went in and they said, what we want to do, we do this with a lot of people. You're going to sit down, watch the game, play the game, and we're going to film you. And if you can just talk about the game and your thoughts on it. Now, I don't play a lot of computer games, right? During lockdown, played a little bit of Fortnite with my kids, that's about it. Got to say, this game was unbelievable. The graphics were out of this world. But so I'm sitting down on this sofa and the camera's on me like this and I'm watching the game. And they're going, just talk about, So I'm like, I'm watching it going, yeah, look at that, wallop, whoa, one in the nuts, oh, baseball bat to the head, whoa, AJ uppercut, oh, here he comes, the Mafia bot, and I'm thinking, and I finished it and I was like, shit, that weren't really what you were after, were they? And it was like, that was great. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, learned a lot, and hopefully we can make some progress.
Quick word on Dorticus and Bradis.
Yep.
Good win for
Bradis. Good fight. Nice audience there on Sky Sports as well. I'm interested to see what Bradis does now. Has Bradis got an Instagram page? Because I was thinking, right, one of the problems, when you're getting a load of money and you are sort of part of a tournament like that, I think you can take your foot off the gas in terms of promo. Like, if you think, let's be honest, that guy is virtually the undisputed cruiserweight champion, other than Cody Glowacki. He ain't got the biggest profile in the world, does he? Do you agree with that?
No.
I mean, so if he's going to...
He fought in Liverpool, didn't he?
Sure. But if he's going to go up and fight in the heavyweights, but I was trying to find his Instagram page because I was going to try and poach him. Really, I was going to drop him a cheeky little DM and go, mate, if you want to go up to heavyweight, let's talk.
Someone.
Yeah, and I didn't know if he had an Instagram. So if you're watching Marius Bradis, I think you're amazing. Let's talk.
Wednesday night though, before everything else.
Yes, Golden Contract.
Yep. 2 great fights.
And I watched Jose Burton in Latvia. I mean, why is it that when there's a bad scorecard, or like 1 or 2 bad scorecards, I'm actually half up for capital punishment? No, on me.
Oh.
And then I'm watching that one, I'm thinking, I thought, because of the standing 8 counts, which were a bit weird as well, by the way, you've given this, 2 judges have scored this 100 to 90. So you've given Ofi maybe 1 round? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, worst case, he lost by 3 rounds. So, thought that was a good fight. And Wednesday night, OD against Tyrone and Walsh against Dickens, which is a really good fight. I can give my predictions on those fights because I don't have a horse in the race, so to speak. I think O'Hara beats Tyrone.
Okay.
I think he stops him. I feel a bit bad saying that because OD called me a wanker, I think, the other day, and I think I love Tyrone. So, yeah, but that's my honest opinion. And I think Walsh beats Jazza Dickens on points. And Tony Bellew will give me a kick in the nuts because he manages Jazza Dickens. But that's my honest opinion of what will happen in those fights. Great fights.
Did you watch the Charlos?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I saw the knockout to the guts. Good fighters. I think there's some great fights to be made out there.
They won't come over here though, will they?
To the UK?
They don't look like they'll come over here.
No.
Because there could be some great fights and
yes. I'd like to see Canelo fight Charlie, to be honest with you.
Just finally, did you see John Fury break the world record for eating?
Fair play.
The Ferrero
I'll tell you, I think if Fury AJ gets made, right? Because obviously I need to break the ice with John before he breaks my neck. I would like to challenge him to the Ferrero Rocher challenge. Because I'm a slob, right? And I eat for England. I think I could beat his time. But I won't do it until we make that fight. And if we make that fight, I will beat John Fury at the Ferrero Rocher challenge.
Have you practiced it?
No, but I just know I'm a gannet, right? And I eat like a pig. So I think. Are you allowed though to drink water like he did?
Well, if you're competing against him, you would be allowed to drink water because he did.
Yeah, but what about the Guinness Book of Records?
I think they're in conference at the moment.
Are they?
Team Fury with. Guinness.
Okay. Well, if you're allowed to drink water, I'll do the same, and I believe I can beat his time.
Under 55 seconds.
Great content either way.
Yeah. What, do you want to do it side by side?
I don't care. I mean, you know, I'll just like.
Don't cheat though, because he will.
I'm gonna cheat. I mean, you're gonna film the whole thing.
No, but...
Once that fight gets made and announced, I will do it, and I'll beat him. Only at Ferrero Rocher meeting, nothing else.
Obviously, Edward. Just a final HEARN type. Come on.
Okay, we're back. Fight camp done and dusted. Forget it even happened. This Sunday, we are back behind closed doors. It's the way we got to be, but. When the chips are down, we strike. We don't say, we can't do it because we got no fans. We put a schedule together for our broadcast that gives them value for money and keeps the momentum of boxing going. This Sunday, turn on your TV, 7 p.m. in the UK on Sky Sports and live on DAZN across America. We start off Linus Adolphia against John Harden Jr. for the English middleweight title. Then we might sprinkle in a bit of John Hedges, who's floating. The rematch of the fight, not even a rematch, it didn't even happen. Aqib Fiaz against Kane Baker, who's going to get the last word? Then one of the most talked about heavyweights right now, Alan the Savage Babbage. Is he the real deal against Irish Kennedy? And then we go back to we're talking about another world championship fight, a young girl that might even be seen to be one of the biggest stars in women's boxing, Chantel Cameron against the very talented Adriana Araujo. Then we talk about prospects. He ain't even a prospect no more. He's one of the best talents in world boxing in one of the most toughest divisions. Better be a Bibbo, he's coming for you. But first, JB, Just Business, Joshua Boatsy has got to deal with Marco Caddick, and that's only October the 4th. We move on to October the 17th. Lewis Ritzen's back. He ain't got 9,000 at Newcastle, but it doesn't matter because we're still delivering. Miguel Vasquez, former IBF World Lightweight Champion. Again, we go to the women's. Savannah Marshall against Hannah Rankin for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. Thomas Patrick Ward, Martin J. Ward, Martin Ward. There's Wards everywhere, but it don't matter because he's fighting a top 15 challenger to try and get a world title shot. Then we go final eliminator for the Super Bantamweight World Championship. World Championship? No, actually it's a British Championship, but who cares anyway? Kez Asfak against Mark Leach. Great little fight. Also Joe Law's on the card as well there in Newcastle. Then we go to Mexico. It's a World Championship triple header. Estrada against Cuadras, the rematch of the Mexican War. Chocolatito against Israel Gonzalez, your mate. Great fight. Could be a banana skin for Chocolatito. The crazy Mexican, Julio Cesar Martinez against IBO World Champion Maximo Flores. Then we come back to the UK. USYK-CHISORA, it can't happen without fans. Yes, it can. USYK-CHISORA, it's on. Also, Selby against Cambosos, Dave Allen, plenty more to come on that undercard. Then, all of a sudden, where are we now? October the 3rd, we go back to America. November the 7th, we're talking about Devin Haney, probably against Yurokis Gamboa. November the 14th, Katie Taylor in a World Championship triple header. Oh, go on then. And then you go to November the 21st, the rematch of one of the most important heavyweight fights in the year, Dillian White against Alexander Povetkin. Top card coming for that card. We move on. Billy Joe Saunders defending his world title like November 28th. And then December the 12th, Anthony Joshua, the biggest star in world boxing, boxing potentially behind closed doors against Kubrat Pulev. It don't really matter because we're here, we're standing strong, we're delivering. When the going gets tough, we get going. Box!
Come on, Sam!
Oh, I'm still filming.
Thank you very much for coming to IFL TV.
On a serious note, have a great time, guys.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.